H. I'm Brad Posey. How are you? I'm very excited this evening because I have a new friend and an old friend that have come together like some kind of musical Voltron, and they've collaborated on some new material, and they're going to share that with us, and we're going to hang out with them and talk a little bit. And I am here with Rita Burkholder and Solo Monk, aka Charles. And first of all, wonderful to see the two of you.
Likewise.
This is the first time I've been able to have a guest in a long time because of global virus. So great.
We're in a panty.
Yeah.
We in a spot.
Tough spot.
Yeah, tough spot.
What was that? Oh God. Oh brother, where art thou? What? He goes, oh, we're in a tight spot. Or something. I don't remember. Anyway, some little bit of dialogue came into my brain. But you guys are, you've got something together. Is it just labeled Solo Monk and Rita Burkholder? Is that how you've got it? Okay. And you're on Bandcamp.
Right.
And anywhere else folks can find you?
I have random music on Spotify, but I push Bandcamp because it's ease of access. People can download it for free.
Right.
You know.
Right. It's a really simple website. It's easy, and I really like the.
They don't try to update it till it stops working.
Right.
Like every other platform.
Right. And I like the fact that it's like you charge what you want. Like for one of my bands, if I charged more than 12 cents for something, I would feel a little bit,
Yeah.
but you can get as fancy as you want. So I have been a fan of you, Rita, before I even had a radio show. So we've known each other for a while.
A long time, yeah.
So if you want to talk a little bit about your musical history a little bit, then we can get Charles to chime in. Then we can kind of talk a little bit about how you guys got together and all that good stuff.
Yeah, sure. I had a solo act once called Helen Keller's Ukulele, and I toured it and went to Europe with it some time ago, 2006 through 2010, I guess. That was a project that I was heavily doing. And then I kind of, I had kids and other projects and stuff going on for a while, but they're all gone now, which is nice, and I can start kind of playing music again. So.
Yeah.
I am recording some with Charles, some of this new album that I have, and also I have been with Jim Cavender and Terry.
Good people.
Great people. But, anyway, so I'm kind of starting to get back into it, I guess, which is nice. But yeah, we met a long time ago. I think it was Majestica. It was just me and an accordion and Sean Webster.
Yeah, and
doing God knows what.
you kind of like, when I first heard you sing, you were like, almost like, this reference is probably really not even close, but like, you had like this Ma Rainey, Big Mama Thornton sort of brassy, just really awesome sort of jazz. Like, I at least it hit me that way, like kind of a, like you just belt. And I was like, I like, and your voice was, I was like, wow.
There's a horn timbre to it seems.
Yes.
Oh, thanks, guys. I'll take that.
And then later, like with Helen Keller's Ukulele, you had the nice little melodies, and it was a little bit different, and you seem capable of doing anything apparently musically that you would like to do.
Oh, well, thank you.
And Solo Monk, I was going to tell you, I've been listening to like little bits and pieces because I guess I was waiting to maybe sit down and really kind of absorb what you've been doing.
Right.
But like your stuff has a really, I have no idea what your influences are. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But your stuff hits me in a kind of interesting little mix of like R&B and hip hop and indie rock like together.
Yeah.
Which is not, I realize is not anything that I don't know where I was going with that thought, but it's a really interesting
it's
mix.
a modern idea, I think. Like millennials are like, we grew up on all that.
Right. It's something that I think like it seemed like I'm trying to think of like a way to it seemed like weird at a certain time, but now it's It's like because you've absorbed all these influences and it just comes right back out of you.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I've been recording this type of music for a long time, but nobody cared about it until the past 5 years. Like I was always touring in bands and always making punk records and making side records, but people just kind of made fun of my side records, and then eventually that's just kind of what I did all the time.
Well, now you did the artwork for the last Local Aliens, right? And see that's I was talking with Brett, and I go I really like this cover, and he goes that's the Solo Monk guy, and I was like, oh, okay, because I had you confused with someone else, and then I thought Charles Ray Hastings was someone else.
Right.
Like you were multiple people to me, and it was all the same person.
Yeah, I know. I love it.
Well, that's
yeah, because I have put out records by my own name and the Solo Monk name and all that stuff,
Yeah.
and they do kind of all have different aesthetics. But the Solo Monk stuff's like it's like a musical chapbook, you know.
Yeah.
And that's really where a lot of the hip hop stuff comes from. Is that
Yeah.
I wanted to give more context and long form lyrically, and
Yeah.
that's just. And I've been rapping since 2004. But,
Yeah.
I'm a goofy looking white dude, so
Well,
even if I do really well, people are just like, please shut up.
Well, I liked how smart it was, and I liked the wordplay, and I also liked the fact that much like Rita, you don't go for the easy or obvious thing.
Right.
There's always something sort of personal and kind of really interesting about both of what you do. So I really am excited to kind of sit down and really listen to and absorb, what you guys have been doing. So how did y'all get together and start making music?
Protests or something?
Well, yeah,
Kind
it
of?
was. I guess it started from the June 1st and 3rd protest. And yeah. Anyway, I was at the June 1st and 3rd protests, and within I think the day after the 3rd, which was nuts.
The 4th?
Nutso. On the
Yeah.
4th, this image popped up in one of the, I think it was the Black Lives Matter page, which like popped up and like really became full blown.
Yeah.
And I saw this cartoon
Tommy Battle.
of Mayor Tommy Battle.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
Tear
yeah.
Gas Tommy. And I was
Tear
like,
Gas Tommy.
holy crap, that's so salient and relevant. And where did this image come from? Because I don't know any political, satirical cartoonists in town.
Right.
And who is this person, Charles Ray Hastings? What the heck? So I looked him up, and well, I didn't look him up yet. First thing I did was I ordered 1,000 stickers of it. I just like totally stole his image, ordered 1,000 stickers, and then I messaged him like, hey, I don't mean to sound like a weirdo, but how do I not know you? Huntsville's tiny.
Right.
And I just stole your image and made 1,000 stickers. I hope that's okay, or something like that. And then we started kind of messaging back and forth. And I mean, that's how, I guess I just got weird and creeper.
Well, that's how I always
appreciate
feel. That's how I always feel too, because sometimes I'll hear a new song or see a new band, and I don't know how to not just email somebody or walk up to them and go, I really like what you do, woo, and they're and not everybody has the same personality, and so it's like I'm kind of a handshaker and a backslapper and a hugger and and some people they're just not that way, and so they're like, oh my God, this weird person won't leave us alone, and they keep asking if we have a demo and and all this stuff. But
Yeah.
well, that's the way you do it. Well, I'm glad.
That's how local music scenes work. It
Yeah.
becomes like a fractal of collaborations.
Yeah. Yeah.
And everybody touches base with each other, and they're like, "Oh, what do you do? What do you do? What do you
Yeah.
do? Oh, I can do this. Oh, I can do this.
Right.
Or I can give you this for this." And
Huntsville is like I feel like the pandemic it has been, and I hate to speak of it like this because I know people have gotten sick and people have lost their lives.
Right.
So first of all, let me say that. But I also feel like, in a way, I felt like there was this nice wave that was happening, and a lot of different things were coming together. And I think that, and we can still do this, but I think that things were really happening where local original music was really starting to pop. You know, it was really starting to finally happen. Like we talked about it for years with people, and I may have had the same conversation with Rita before. But you know, it seemed like it was really starting to happen, and the environment and the ecosystem for it is so great, and most people, almost
People need it.
yeah, people need it, and most people are really cool about it. Like that's something that when I started dipping my toes into this, when I first started doing the show, I noticed how I didn't really meet a lot of a-holes. You know, I met nice people, and they seemed like, sure, I'd love to hear what you do. Oh, my cousin plays violin, or hey, this guy's a rapper. He wants to work with you or something. And it just seems, you know, I am so grateful for all the people that I've had the luxury of meeting through this show, and it's like, you know, I mean, it's just great.
Right.
It's fun.
Yeah. It's been fun being on the show.
Well,
and it's nice hearing your show with other people. It's like you get the conversations that you wouldn't normally get. And, yeah, sorry.
Well, and that's something too, like talking about collaboration is it's something that I hope that we see much more of that, where you know, you've got, you know, at some point maybe when, you know, if we can ever have shows to any degree or whatever that you know, and if not, we can all do it on Zoom. But you know, I hope to see more people working together and collaborating and just making interesting things.
Right. Yeah, I want to start doing producer tapes and then giving up all the money to some local charity. Just do it every year or whatever.
Yeah.
Where I just produce tracks for people, and everybody puts on a compilation. And you don't have to worry about paying for recordings or any of that stuff. You know?
Well, you do really quality work, and I'm sure there's plenty of people who would be interested to take part in that.
I'm always fishing for it, but I mean, you know, the digital landscape is flooded with stuff and adverts.
Oh yeah.
People, you know, we don't want to stare at our phones, but we end up doing it, and then it's not at the right things, and we just get flooded with information.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Did either of you, did you find yourselves, like, did the music come from its own place, or did you find yourself, like, was the pandemic a topic of what you were making?
I think like this album is, well, it's called Guillotine, and it's a protest album.
Yeah.
And we tried to make like everything that came from it was ours. Like we had individual contributions that came together, but even like the photography for the album is an actual photo of an actual cop that I took in Louisville over at the Breonna Taylor protest. So I think that like, what was the question?
We were trying to make a functional record, so there was a lot of pre-thought, like aesthetic building, as in like, you know, she has a specific like timbre to her voice that works well over like earthy tones and like acoustic stuff, and I have what I do, which is like electronic R&B, punk, indie, whatever. Yeah. So I was just trying to like make a bed of music that worked well with that. Yeah. And we discussed what we wanted to sing and what we wanted people to sing back to us. Yeah. In that way. Yeah. Where it's like, wouldn't it be cool to get people to say this? Yeah. Or think about this. Yeah. Or they sing along with it because it's like a good melody and it slowly seeps in. Yeah. You know.
I think some of them too are like talking about like what message do we want to get across, you know, and there are ways to like retrain your neural network so that you can actually train yourself to think differently. And music, I think, can do that. I think if you've got a repetitive phrase or something, you know, like repeating a positive phrase, like this is fine.
They're like protest mantras.
And then, protest mantras. So if we can get that in someone's brain, maybe they can begin thinking a little differently. And I think there were two different experiences also that we had in making the album. So Charles, if you don't mind me saying so, has a heart condition. So he's kind of just like trapped in his house, right? So he cannot work because it could kill him. And so there's been this interesting kind of collaboration where I've had to be extra careful in my life not to bring COVID into the house when I go visit to make music and art with him. Yeah. But I had this outside situation going on where I was photo documenting or legally observing protests in Huntsville. So I went to like over 90 protests in Huntsville, not just, June and July, but June through like, I don't know, November, I think. And then I was also going to Florence and Louisville. I went to Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
And
I was trying to.
so, yeah, I think it's like there were different experiences. So I was actually witnessing cops beating the crap out of people or beating on me or shooting at me or shooting at other people, and as a journalist, like independent journalist or legal observer, not being afforded the neutrality that I'm legally allowed, and
Right.
just kind of observing that, witnessing that in a physical space as it's happening. And then although Charles, you definitely witnessed some of that, a lot of it has been
And I have personal
online.
experiences with cops of them choking and beating me up when I'm handcuffed and for public intoxication. And I just kept saying, "Please stop hitting me." and it hurt, but I was just really like, "Damn, this sucks. I can't do anything about this." So that's always in my mind.
Yeah,
It is very easy for me to write protest songs about cops lying and beating people up.
the subject is so strange because, when you talk about it, it's like you have to preface it somehow, like, oh, it's not all cops and it's not all this or whatever.
Right.
But it's like, when the evidence is there,
Right.
and when things keep happening,
Right.
especially to people of a darker skin tone,
Right.
and then you see video after video after video, it's like, it's something that has needed to be addressed since, 100 years ago or 200 years ago,
Right.
whatever. And then, people are, it's very difficult for people to talk about. And,
Mhm.
and then you have to go, okay, well, I haven't been beat up by a fireman. The kid that made my sandwich at Subway didn't beat me up.
Right. As a bartender, I don't get to beat up my
right.
patrons when they swing at me
Right. So
or try to cut me.
right. So there is a culture here where collectively we've decided that it's okay if a cop roughs up somebody.
Or who feels
We're
threatened.
okay with it.
Right.
And so then you have to go, why are we okay with it? And so I think it's very important that we're all asking ourselves these questions, and you made an album about that. So
Well, I think it's good protest comes in so many forms, and not everyone can march or hold a sign or occupy or document that. But I think it's really important historically too to get these thoughts and ideas down, whether it be musically or writing. And there's the other idea too of, everyone, quotes everyone, because obviously not everyone, but everyone also thinks it's okay to just do whatever they want to a black body, beat them, kill them, deprive them of proper income.
If they feel threatened in any kind of way.
Or if they don't feel threatened and
Yeah.
they just want to do it. And
Right.
and I think that this album, some of the language that addresses that is really interesting. And we had there are a couple lyrics that I wrote, and there was
A
one
couple
and
of
you were like,
Caucasians were offended by the language. And it's just like, it ain't, you have no right to be offended.
well, someone told me I wasn't allowed to use the word slave because I was white, and I think it's really interesting that you're talking about protests and all these ideas of, you have the very liberal left. I have friends who claim to be very liberal left, and then I also have friends that are very conservative right. But it's really interesting because both sides are like freedom of speech. That's what makes America. But I have never been more policed in my life by my peers than this last year, especially through language.
right.
And being told that I'm not allowed to speak about something or address something or talk about something. And I am sensitive to the idea that we are white talking about black experience in some way. But I'm not in any way claiming to have had the black experience. But what I have had is I've witnessed what is happening to black people from a very small child. When I saw a burning cross in Arab County at age 5, to all of the things I've witnessed growing up in poor black neighborhoods, being poor myself as well, and just there's a marked difference in the treatment of black people in daily lives. And so one of the lines I wrote was, everybody knows, what is it? Everybody knows.
You don't sick a
that
dog
you
on a
ain't-
black man.
Everybody knows that you don't sick a dog on a black man anymore.
Because we're supposed to be past that.
And
Right.
it's just a basic, simple phrase. And I've had a couple people like, oh, that's really brutal. You shouldn't write that. I'm like, the whole point is that what's brutal about it? That I'm writing about it and we're speaking about it? Or the fact that they're still doing it? Can we
Dana
talk about
Fletcher.
Dana Fletcher
Dana
was shot
Fletcher.
in the head moments after they sicked a dog
They let
on
a
a
dog
human
chew
being?
on his leg.
So
Yeah.
lyrics like that, are addressing things that have really happened. And although I personally have not had the black experience, it's impossible for me to fully feel that in any way. I have witnessed it my entire life, and there are lyrics in some of the songs that do address things, locally here, Dana Fletcher, or, George Floyd, and I think that it's just really like in Bended Knee, I think it's important to say those harsh words and realities, because it isn't that the words are harsh, it's that
Yeah.
the words are laying wide open for everyone to see
Reality.
the action that is
Material
happening.
world.
And let's talk about it. And I think the album is a conversation starter.
Yeah.
And I don't respond to people when they police me or police my language or my thoughts. I just let it ride. I kind of let it ride because what it does is it allows someone else to jump in and
Yeah.
say, hey, wait a second, and that's where the conversation happens. I don't have to address it. All Charles has to do is make the art, make the music,
Yeah.
and then it's up to the viewer to decide what the conversation is.
I completely agree with you, and I also, the point where we get uncomfortable is where the conversation should start,
Yes.
not where it ends. And I mean, as a white guy, you have this incredible amount of unspoken guilt and shame at the way you've observed people being treated, but maybe you didn't speak up or maybe you didn't say anything. And then, like, for me, it's like my whole life I've been kind of the same person, but then you start to see the ugliness in people, not just the passivity or that we don't care or we don't act or protest or anything, but the fact that you literally side with the wrong side. And it's like,
There's a reason for any measure of violence.
yeah.
Always.
And that's America's. That's our song. We love
Violence
that song.
is a virtue in America.
Violence is the answer. That's what we keep telling ourselves. And but it's really, it's like, how can I say that I have black friends or black heroes if I just kind of don't say anything at all? You know?
Yeah, I think the if anyone ever gets into a serious conversation with me about it, what I say is that white people got to talk to white people, because black
It
people
is.
ain't the problem, and
Yeah.
minorities ain't the problem.
Right.
White people are the problem.
It's
You
black acceptance, not black acceptance, white acceptance, white acknowledgement of white privilege, of the fact that from real estate to schools to neighborhood zoning to in every possible way, whoever set up our whole system basically was set up to perpetuate us being a couple of rungs up on the ladder to
Right.
everybody else. And then
We've normalized state violence in a lot of different packages and a lot of different facets of society.
and we get nervous about it when the subject comes up, but that's where we need to start talking to each other.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for being on the show.
Yeah.
And
thanks for
I
having us.
would, is there a certain song that we want to start off with?
I mean, I like Bended Knee.
Yeah, that's fine.
But-
I like that one.
Is there another one that you,
I like Weak Attack just because it has a funky vibe to it.
that it's
We
fun?
can do both of those.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
And there is what is the fight song? What is it? Is that what we called it?
Femme Finale.
Femme Finale.
Okay.
I guess there are like 3 of them.
Okay.
No pressure.
No,
But-
that sounds great.
One of the fun things that I like about recording with Charles is he does this layered music, right? And it's just really great. So I come into a setting and it's just so easy to work with him because he already has a mood, a vibe, a beat. He's got everything down, right? And then we sit there and think, and he already maybe has some lyrics, and maybe I'm singing on something that he's written, or maybe we come with some lyrics together, or something hits me and I write all these lyrics, and then we go through and refine it. But I like also how he layers our voices in together, which is really fun. And it's just like fun and poppy, and I don't know, it's nice going from like folk chick on a ukulele or like trying to belt it out blotto zlotto style on an accordion to like, I don't know, like 80s femme punk kind of pop stuff, and so I had a lot of fun doing like vocals, and we did some that were like cascading vocals that reminded me kind of like the more like southern harmonizing singing, and then there's some like old church and slave songs, and then there are also a lot of chants, protest chants in this album too that I learned just from documenting protests and stuff like that. So it's a really fun album. Definitely check it out and tell us what you think your favorite ones are.
Well, I like it, and I think everybody out there that's listening is going to like it too. Rita, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you, Brad.
Solo Monk, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
Let's get into some music. You're listening to The Invisible City on 89.3 WLRH here in Huntsville and 104.5 in Fort Payne.
I can feel my last breath leaving me. Can you feel it? I've been begging you to lift up your knee. Can you hear me? Started fighting me in the streets. Why you fighting me?
never learn to trust. Politicians are liars, cowards pining for lovable bed. Swords dreaming of the bullpen, and the doors with blood on the glass. Oh, there's so much blood. 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 Where are all the adults when adults run amok?
Where are all the adults?
Who do we love when we never learn to
Who
trust?
do we love?
Politicians are liars, cowards pining for lovable bed. Swords dreaming of the bullpen,
Matadors with blood on their glass.
Fight, fight, fight. No one's just a body to be used by everybody. Separatists unite, fight, fight, fight. No one's just a body to be used by everybody.
We can't come together if we're punishing each other. Brothers need all sisters, and all sisters need their brothers. I'm calling out your call-outs, and I'm canceling your cancel culture. We can't keep it safe if we just police each other.
Friends are the ones who carry us through. When the stake bells, who takes care of you?
Can't work for equality if we practice exclusivity. We can't keep the peace if we turn into the police.
Friends are the ones who carry us through. When the stake bells, who takes care of you?
Who keeps us safe? We keep us safe. Who keeps us safe? We keep us safe. Who keeps us safe? We keep us safe. We do, we do, we do, we do. Who keeps us safe? We keep us safe. Who keeps us safe? We keep us safe. Who keeps us safe? We keep us safe. We do, we do, we do, we do.
Fantastic music that is from a fantastic album called Guillotine by Solo Monk and Rita Burkholder. They got together and made a really great record. It is a protest record. It was inspired by the murder, sadly, of George Floyd and the Black Lives Matter movement of 2020. Rita and Solo Monk met, I think, in a protest or something, became friends, and next thing you know, they're making music together, and we have this great document of that. Really nice record called Guillotine. You can find it on Bandcamp. I'd like to thank them for being on the show. I had a blast talking to them. They're very sweet people, and really enjoyed that. We heard Femme Fanal and Matadors, Weak Attack, and Bended Knee from the album Guillotine by Rita Burkholder and Solo Monk, which is, again, available on Bandcamp if you'd like to check that out.